really horrible lighting, but today is Friday, September 27th. Yesterday was my friend Deb's birthday from work, and today we are going to a haunted mansion-ish, I guess. I've never been there. I don't know where we're going, but we're going to an actual haunted house. Not like a scare house, but like a haunted house. So, I'm gonna take you along. Let's go.
So the area that you came in was an addition that was put on in the 19th century, and Dr. Park used it as his doctor's office. The area that we're going into now is the original house. So right here at this door frame, there's about an 8-inch step up. Now, this room that we're in now is our exhibition room, and this is where we put in temporary exhibits, but this originally would have been 2 bedrooms. Now the reason we call this the Park House is because this is where the Park family lived, and they owned this house from 1838 until 1941, and everyone except for one person died here. It is quite likely that a few of them actually died in this room. We've had reports of Mrs. Park, we've had reports of Mr. Park, a gentleman named George, and another gentleman named Charles, and 2 children. The 2 children, they're not associated with the house itself, but with the artifacts that we have in the house. And the first time we heard the reports of the 2 kids, we had a gentleman that was taking a tour. He came down to report 2 children running around upstairs unattended. He was a little irritated because who would let kids run around a museum? So I was fairly certain that nobody else had come in aside from him, so we come upstairs. I take a look around. I asked Mark, he's like, no, there's no kids. We thought he was, just pulling our leg. But then we've had similar reports from a few other people, about 3 other people from different areas of the world. We had someone from France, someone from Australia, someone from out west. And we had one other person tell us that there's 2 kids that like to play hide and seek up here, which is certainly something I didn't want to hear knowing the story of this door. Now this is our crawl space. There's one on either side, a south one and a north one. And they do open on their own. So if it were to open a little bit, you'd say it was probably a draft. But they do open quite a bit. And they'll stay open. And then they'll close. And
I'm with Paranormal. This is Adrian. She's a consultant with our team. She's a psychic medium. Shelly, she's an investigator. And this is Chantal. She is consultant also and kind of like shadowing me tonight. Where should I begin?
This trusty thing here. This trusty here thing. I like playing with this stuff.
I don't know if you guys watch paranormal TV shows, but this is what we call a REM pod. It picks up electromagnetic fields, which is stuff that your cell phone would put out, or if you get it close to like a light socket, it'll go off. Same kind of concept with the K2 meters too. It's just a smaller version, and it doesn't have that fun sound. And
Eventually we can walk around and see who has their cell phone on. No, I have no, doesn't mine doesn't do that.
Yeah, we were doing watches earlier.
I know yours is on, so it might go off. See? Oh, sorry, didn't mean to hit you. See the lights? Yeah. That's what that does. Kind of give you, your case might be blocking it, right? Your case might not. Oh, maybe.
So, over the years, I've been investigating maybe 10 to 15 times in this location since 2012. There's been occasions where you've looked in the mirror and you can see somebody standing behind you. but there's no one there. And I've caught a full-bodied apparition right in front of this window here. She's about Shelley's size, a bun in her hair, and her skirt goes down past the windowsill on the inside. So you can clearly see that it's a female. It's on Ontario Paranormal Inquest Society on YouTube. You can see the video on there.
Let's figure out where to put this camera.
Good. Battery just died. Fuck, are you kidding me?
Let's figure out where to put this camera.
Good. Battery just died. Fuck, are you kidding me? This is my old team. Also behind you guys there's a chair. There's also a video floating around of somebody who's just panning around the room taking a video from this area, and you can see an apparition get up and move out the doorway. A lot of times our equipment will go off in here. As you can see, this is generally a no hydro area. Hydro's out there. There's some in the basement. We've done investigating downstairs where there is no wires that run underneath this floorboard or anything like that. So we'll sit here, we'll communicate with them. They'll make these little fun gadgets go off. If a theory has it, and we've proven it, if a spirit goes in front of it, it will block out the lasers, and you'll be able to catch it on film, which we have at a different location at Heritage Village. If you want to come with me over to this area, is that okay?
Yeah, if you want to see it all, it's all over here, so I can show you how it really
Adrian's not allowed in that room. You can go up and I sat in his chair.
And he got mad.
And he's a doctor, so you'll sit in the doctor chair. And I'm a woman, so another.
So basically this room was a males only room. This was when they conducted business. No females were allowed into this room whatsoever. We found that out again today when Adrian sat in the chair and Dr. Park was in here and got mad at her and told her she needed to get out. A lot of times we'll put female investigators in here by themselves as we call bait. So we've gotten full phrases about get out of here, basically you're not welcome.
I'm Wine.
Where are you?
Wine. Wells Paranormal here with
Oh.
Tina. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did we use your
Awesome.
bait?
Oh, yeah, he basically told me, yeah, he didn't want me in here when we said the spirit box. We heard him.
Yep. See, she can.
Oh, yeah, I'm getting
Validate that.
chills big time right now.
Yeah, he's not happy.
He's probably not
I think
happy
he's
this
probably
minute he's
well.
in here.
I think this is the last tour. I think he's about done with it for the night.
Where are you
Uh,
at?
So yeah, we've had a camera that was placed in the corner move on its own where no one's came in or out because you could clearly see it from the doorway. Yeah, that's about it from here that I know of. I'll show you where I had my experience. Just want to follow me. So this room here, I'll wait for everybody to know. This room here is basically, there's a setup under there. It's for like fur trading and the trading in the area. It wasn't used for that, but that's where they have a little setup in there. I did an isolation session on Facebook Live by myself, the door closed, and a marble dropped from the ceiling on top and rolled across the table right in front of me. I have no idea where it came from, but it was there. This hallway is very active too. There's a male in here that will say, hey, or what are you doing? It's been heard by many paranormal investigators. One of our psychic mediums, Tina, saw a male standing over my shoulder. She got scared and ran out up here. I know Steph had you upstairs, but there is a cradle. You guys saw the coffin cradle. There's also another one at the top of the stairs that freaked out an investigator so bad that he ran down the stairs, and he's 6'5", very tall. Nothing scares him. Ran down here, think he missed all the stairs, and ran out of here, and that's the only time ever investigating with him I've seen him scared. So sometimes in this hallway we'll hear like clinking of the dishes, like ting 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 ting. And yeah, that's it. So I'm in this area, so I'm gonna pass you through here into the kitchen. And she will take over for you guys. She's got a couple stories for you too.
So, during the time that the Parks would have owned this house, the main cause of death for women was childbirth, closely followed by burning to death. So when women used to cook their gowns, if they would get caught on fire, if they couldn't get them off, they would just go up with their dresses. So there was a murder in town. Didn't take place in this kitchen, but it was actually a cook who had worked for the Park family that passed away. So the one big story that we have for tonight, at least that pertains to this room, didn't take place here in the house, but it pertains to the cook, Mrs. Veeney. So Mrs. Veeney died at her home on Gore Street. She was murdered by her husband, actually. So the night of her death was in September 1862. It was around the 12th of September, I believe. She was at home making dinner, and she had about 4 neighbors. One of her neighbors heard a scream, so she comes outside. She goes around to the back of the Veeney house. Out back by the kitchen door, she sees Mr. Veeney holding his wife. Both are covered in blood, and Mr. Veeney looks like he's holding a knife. So obviously, this distraught neighbor starts yelling. She's yelling at him, apparently. She told him, "What are you doing? Put her down. What's going on?" He wasn't listening. So she runs back to the front of the house, goes across the street to one of the other neighbors, Mr. Johnson. Johnson comes over. When he gets to the Veeney house, what he finds behind the house is a dead Mrs. Veeney. She was laying with her head pushed up against the shed, about 3 feet in front of him, and her body was distorted to the left. She'd been cut by her husband from below her earlobe 7 inches to the bottom of her chin. So the cut was 7 inches long, was 2 inches deep, and about 3 inches wide. So she bled out in her backyard, and when the police finally got there, they found stab wounds on her arms and slashes across her face that were consistent with defensive wounds. So she was obviously a struggle. When they went in the house, they found that the tablecloth that she had set, the table was a mess. The food she would have been cooking was all over the kitchen. So they probably started fighting in the kitchen, and then she had died outside. Mr. Veeney claimed that he didn't know what had happened. He wouldn't tell anyone. No one knows why he killed his wife, even to this day. Thanks for coming, guys.
Thank you.
So the tinsmiths are just in this little building to our right here.
Yeah, thanks for coming in.